Have you ever heard of just exercise more and eat less? I'm sure your doctor has told you that, and they probably tell you your labs look great. And if this is you and you have hypothyroidism or Hashimoto's, then I want you to listen to this because that advice is by far just the worst advice that your doctor can give you. And even today, I hear that from doctors, and I thought that this was something that we were dealing with and that was old and out in the early 2000s. But no, we're still here and we're still hearing that piece of advice. Listen to this. I'm going to give you 3 tips how you can start losing weight and regain your energy and mental clarity. 2 complaints that I hear about Hashimoto's is that your brain fog, you don't have mental clarity, mental acuity, and also that people are struggling to lose weight. Those are the 2 biggest complaints that I hear when it comes to Hashimoto's or hypothyroidism. And so I want to give you some tangible tips that you can take today to start implementing these things and maybe start noticing some differences. Obviously, you're not going to wake up tomorrow 5 pounds lighter, but if you start doing this and applying it on a week to week basis, you might start noticing a few pounds losing. But more importantly, which I think is most important, is feeling better and having more mental clarity. Because if you're a mom, if you're a working woman, then you know that you need to be thinking clearly. You need to have the energy to keep up with those kids. So let's get started. I want to give you my top 3 tips that you can apply today. Okay, my first tip is going to be to give up gluten and dairy. Yes, I know, and everybody's probably going to come at me in the comments, but hear me out. Gluten and dairy, these are inflammatory foods. And especially if you're somebody who has Hashimoto's, you really need to stay away from this. Even if you have Graves' disease, I would recommend staying away from gluten and dairy. Give it up for at least 90 days. Just give yourself a small timeline and cut it out of your diet. Commit to this for the next 90 days, and you're going to notice that you're going to lose maybe a few pounds a month. Maybe not a whole lot in the beginning because your body's going to be adjusting to this, but you will notice that you have sustainable weight loss. And this is because these foods cause inflammation, and inflammation typically comes in the form of water weight. So you might notice that your face doesn't look as puffy, that your hands aren't as swollen, or maybe also your ankles aren't as swollen. If you need an easy resource guide, I did create a 21-day meal plan, and in that 21-day meal plan, it cuts out the thinking for you. You have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Go check that out. It's a great, easy resource for you just to just touch your foot into the water to see if you like the temperature. All right, my tip number 2 is going to be this one is really good and I can swear by it. And so I'm excited to talk about it. And it's being able to track your fat macros. I'm not a big fan of tracking your macros or even counting calories. I get it, it's annoying. But if it's kind of like checking your bank account. How do you know how much money you have or what your budget is if you can't even go in and look at your bank account on a weekly or daily basis? So that's how I look at counting your fat macros. Just kind of check to see where you're at. And I bet you it's just going to surprise you when you do check. You're going to see that your fat intake is probably really high. Most people, the average American, consumes somewhere around like 60 to 80 grams of fat a day. That is a lot. So your goal is to stay under 50 grams. Ideally, if you can get to 30 grams a day, then you are going to notice a huge difference. If you get my meal plan, all those are low fat foods and low fat meals. So you're going to be able to achieve that. Okay, in addition to going low fat and trying to stay around the 30 to 50 marker of grams per day with the fats, specifically, you're going to want to avoid fats for breakfast. In the morning, your body is actively looking for glucose. It's not looking for high protein or high fat. So try to give yourself something that's rich in glucose, like a smoothie. It can be an acai bowl. Don't slather it with nut butters and peanut butters and things like that. Just put the fruits and coconut water, and that's it. Okay. And my last tip is going to be a 24-hour water fast. You can apply a 24-hour water fast to your, routines weekly. I have recently started doing this and I have noticed tremendous benefit, not just weight wise. I have lost a couple of pounds, which I would like to lose another 10 pounds. My problem is that I love good, rich foods. I like fat because I like beef, I like to eat steaks. And so I do moderate these. However, I realize that it has led me to the weight that I'm at. But we're not talking about me, we're talking about you. So, what you would want to do is that you want to reduce your fats, of course, but implementing a 24-hour water fast just once a week, you'll notice a couple of things. Number one, water fasting allows for great blood sugar regulation and insulin sensitivity. If you're somebody who struggles with prediabetes or you have insulin resistance, this is going to improve. You're also going to notice that you have better mental acuity and mental focus, and that's because when you're fasting, your alertness, your senses, they increase, which I thought was amazing. You water fast, you actually have more energy. Everybody thinks that when you're not going to eat that your energy is going to dip down. This is not the case. You have sustained energy. Now, you don't want to be running around, running errands. It would be good to do a water fast on maybe like your day off, like Sunday would be a great day, and you want to do basically a dinner to dinner fast. So like 6 p.m. on Saturday to 6 p.m. on Sunday. So whatever you do, you can try that. If this is too intense for you, then just try like maybe a 16-hour water fast or a 17-hour. Just try something small and work your way up. You start applying more water fasting, and if you do this on a regular basis, at least once a week, you're going to notice that again, week to week, that things are improving. Your mental acuity, you're going to start the first water fast you ever do, you have intense cravings. You're going to think that you can't do this, but you have the willpower to recognize that these are cravings. Like, I don't even need to eat this. I'm not even hungry. It's not so much hunger pains. You might have a little bit of that in the beginning, but really you're basically like your mind is just like pinpointing specific foods that you want, hoping that you're going to cave in. And that's more so food addiction. And you're going to realize that we all have food addictions and food cravings. And the more that you can lessen and let go of the strong hold of the food cravings and food addictions on you, then you're going to be able to navigate those better when you're not fasting. I found this to be extremely true on my first water fast. I was just like fantasizing about foods. Like, oh my God, I want, I don't know, Mexican food or something, or I was craving popcorn, something like that. And then I realized like I'm not even hungry. It's just that like my mind is just racing with all these foods. It was like painful to watch food, like to watch movies with food in them. I was like, oh my God, this looks so good. But what made it easier is that once I broke my fast and the next days to come, I could recognize a food craving versus a food like feeling hungry. And that's what's going to happen for you. And then this way you won't be snacking so much or making bad choices with foods, because that's just one thing that we don't talk about is, yes, all this sounds great of eating healthy and what to do, but the truth is like you need to have strong willpower, and sometimes those food addictions and food cravings can take over us, and that's where this real struggle lies. I hope that you found this video helpful. Please do me a favor and go check out that 21-day anti-inflammatory meal plan, or if you'd like, apply for my 4-month coaching program if you want one-on-one support, where we will walk you through the thyroid protocol as well as water fasting into the protocol. All right, take care, my friends, and I hope this video served you well. Take care.